guys. Tonight's video is once again proudly sponsored by Audible. At Audible, you can find the world's largest selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and other spoken word entertainment. They have it all. They have bestsellers, new releases, languages, memoirs, thousands of podcasts. As an Audible member, you get 1 free credit every single month to choose a title from their premium collection, which you can then keep in your library forever. You also get full access to a growing selection of included audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts. You can download or stream their titles all you want, and the app is completely free to download. Right now I'm listening to Made by Stephanie Land because I love the TV show and I love these kinds of memoirs. Also, 2022 is a year of self-improvement and growth, especially for me, and Audible has a ton of titles related to exactly that. I especially love their guided meditations, so you can start your 30-day free trial by going to audible.com/lavender or texting lavender to 500 500. So thank you so much, Audible, for sponsoring tonight's video, and let's get right to it. Oh, hello. I'm so glad you can make it. I'm sorry to hold you after class. I just had a few things to talk about with you. But first of all, what did you think of your first day? Yes, Mrs. Trunchbull is quite assertive. I hope she didn't frighten you too terribly. Good. All right. So the main reason I wanted to speak with you today was to talk about your academic future. So you are quite obviously on a level different from your peers, perhaps different from anybody here in our elementary school. And I did speak with Miss Trunchbull about perhaps moving you to a higher grade. She was not entirely receptive to the idea, but I was thinking we could have some after-class sessions to work on some on-level curriculum for you. How does that sound? Good, good. Okay, as you demonstrated in class today, you are on a mathematical level of perhaps a university student. So we are going to forego the mathematic tutoring. I don't think I have anything to teach you there. However, reading-wise, you did mention you loved Dickens, so I know you're also at a very high level there. I got a reading comprehension worksheet for you. That's about a university level. If you could complete this, I can review it and we can work from there to kind of figure out what reading level you're at. Perfect. Okay, so I have a pencil here for you. And let me get this quick couple paragraphs and you'll answer some questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. How does that sound? Perfect. So go ahead and work on that. I'm going to continue grading, okay? Perfect. I noticed you made a friend today already. Yes, Lavender is a very sweet girl. All of my students are extremely sweet. Sorry. You're done? There are questions to complete. Oh, you've done it all. Well, let me just take a quick look at that. Well, it looks like you scored a perfect score. It seems as if I have almost nothing to teach you. But here's an idea. Perhaps instead of extra curriculum, we could have a book club of sorts. Yeah, so I could share some books with you. Have you read them? We can discuss them. Does that sound good? Wonderful. And I do have quite a few classic literature options here in the classroom, mainly for my own personal use. I never thought I would have a student at that reading level. So you've said you've read Dickens, correct? Okay, so you read Great Expectations? Okay, how about Oliver Twist? Okay, well, how about we try a new author? Have you heard of John Steinbeck? Wonderful. Okay. Also, I completely forgot to ask. Your parents must be worried sick about you. Should I give them a call? No? It's okay. Are you sure? Okay. There is a bus that should run in the next 20 minutes, so don't worry about getting home. And if we stay a little late, I would be more than happy to give you a ride home myself. Wonderful. All right, well, back to Steinbeck. I believe I have him somewhere over here. Here's one. And here's another. So let me get everything situated here. Okay, so do you want to just talk about the books for a second? Good. All right. So, The Grapes of Wrath, a wonderful novel if you ask me. John Steinbeck actually grew up in the Salinas Valley in California, and his other book, East of Eden, talks about that. But this book deals with the period in history known as the Dust Bowl. Have you heard of it? Okay, all right. Let me read you a bit from the description. Steinbeck's epic of the Great Depression chronicles the Dust Bowl migration of the 1930s and tells the story of one Oklahoma farm family, the Jodes, driven from their homestead and forced to travel west to the promised land of California. Out of their trials and their repeated collisions with the hard realities of an America divided into haves and have-nots, evolves a drama that is intensely human, yet majestic in its scale and moral vision. So I understand of this book. It's a bit long, but I'm guessing you don't mind. Wonderful. Because I also have another book of his called The Red Pony, and it is a novelette, much like Of Mice and Men. Have you read Of Mice? Exactly. Now, I imagine that you could read this in an evening. Would you like both, perhaps? Do you have a library card already? Wonderful. I'm so happy your parents took care of that for you. Oh, you went and got it yourself? I should have known. You are full of surprises. Okay. Well, who else do I have here? How about some Hemingway? Of course, if you want to just take home these 2 Steinbeck books and we can talk about it, but you'd like some more? Wonderful. All right. Well, I have a famous Hemingway book called The Old Man and the Sea. I'm going to read you the back. Is that okay? If you are in any rush at all, just let me know. I was planning to hold you here to work on some college level worksheets, but it seems as if that would be no use to you. Okay. So, The Old Man and the Sea, now a modern classic, tells the tragic yet triumphant story of an old Cuban fisherman and his supreme ordeal. A relentless, agonizing battle with a giant marlin, far out in the Gulf Stream. One of Hemingway's finest creations, this short novel was given special recognition in the citation accompanying the author's Nobel Prize for Literature in 1954. Born in Oak Park, Illinois in 1899, Ernest Hemingway was educated there in the public schools. He became a reporter on the Kansas City Star and in World War I served as an ambulance driver in Italy and was badly wounded in action. After the war, he settled in Paris as a correspondent for the Toronto Star, and it was there that he began his serious writing career. He served as a war correspondent during the Spanish Civil War and World War II. He died in Idaho in 1961. You know, I had never actually read that little blurb about Hemingway, but I do have some fun facts about Hemingway. He survived not 1, but 2 plane crashes, and he actually once read a news story about his own death, but he survived. He was also very into cats that had multiple fingers or digits on their paws. Do you happen to know the word for that? When an animal or perhaps a human has an extra amount of digits. Yes, exactly. Polydactyl. You are quite remarkable. Alright, so shall I add this to your pile? I do believe, well, why don't you tell me some other classics that you've read? Okay, some Shakespeare, wonderful. Okay. What about some Pearl Buck, the author? Here we go. I have this lovely book called The Good Earth, written by Pearl Buck, a female author. Do you have any interest in becoming an author? Well, there's an idea. Perhaps I could give you some creative writing prompts. Okay, I'll make a note of that later. So, this was written in the 1930s, and I do believe that Pearl Buck is a Nobel Prize winner. Yep, Nobel Prize winner Pearl Buck. Her brilliant novel beloved by millions of readers. Well, this takes place in China. I'm sure you've read a lot of literature taking place in England and America, and so this could be interesting because it takes place in 20th century China, but early 20th century. Let me read the back just one more time. This is the last time, okay? Perfect. Okay. So, excuse me, I can only write what I know, and I know nothing but China, having always lived there, wrote Pearl Buck. In The Good Earth, she presents a graphic view of a China when the last emperor reigned, and the vast political and social upheavals of the 20th century were but distant rumblings for the ordinary people. This moving classic story of the honest farmer, Wang Lung, and his selfless wife, Lan, is must reading for those who would fully appreciate the sweeping changes that have occurred in the lives of the Chinese people during the century. Now, you may have had a similar thought process as me in thinking that Pearl S. Buck was a Chinese woman. She is not. She is a white woman whose parents were missionaries. Do you know what a missionary is? Of course you do. So her parents were missionaries in China, and I actually believe as she grew up, or when she grew up, she also continued missionary work in China, but she spent the majority of her life and her childhood in China. This was a fascinating book. Would you like me to add it to your pile? Perfect. Okay. Well, I think that is adequate reading for now. As you go through them, we can talk about them after class. How many times a week would you say you would be available to meet? Every day? Well, that would be wonderful. Okay, yeah. And your parents, do I need to write a note for them, letting them know where you'll be? No? I'm going to do it anyways, just so I don't get any upset phone calls, okay? So, I'm going to put these here for you to take home. Let me write a little note for you. Matilda will be staying after class for approximately 1 hour, Monday through Friday, with your permission, of course. And supplement her education, Miss Honey. All right. So go ahead and take this little note home with you. And if they have any questions, I am always available to talk to parents. I love speaking with parents about their children and my students. Okay. I can't help but feel a little sad that you are here at Cruncham Hall. I feel as if you would excel greatly in a university setting, but until then, I will continue to try to find curriculum on your level and perhaps approach the subject again with Miss Trunchbull. Yes, she is a bit, well, you know. All right, well, it was so nice seeing you. I think I may be paying a visit to your parents' house and your house in perhaps a day or two. So, why? Oh well, it's a little surprise. Okay, well, I will see you bright and early tomorrow. I hope you enjoy the books. And I totally forgot to ask, I feel as if at this point you have recommendations for me. You do? Let me just write that down. Okay, see, I have not read that, and I have been meaning to make a special note. Okay, perfect. All right, I will see you bright and early. It was an absolute pleasure, and I'm very excited to continue doing this after class. Alright, see you tomorrow.